Welcome everybody. I guess this is episode two. We have some guests today, which is really exciting. We're going to talk a little bit about travel, honeymoon, what you need to know, what you don't need to know, and how to make it easy, stress-free, and really kind of fun for you guys. So there's a lot of places that you don't think about for honeymoon as well as destination travel. And we have a whole branch of the company that does destination internationally, which is where Lauren comes in. She does all of our destination travel and all of our honeymoons. And we also brought in someone to kind of chit chat a little bit about additional planning, which we'll kind of dive into that a little bit too. But first part of what we're going to talk about is trends in travel, what that looks like, places that everybody is going, places that you are tired of going, which is honestly kind of funny because when you when you tell me you're tired of going to Italy.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Thoughts on that?
No, I can't understand that. I don't get it. It's just, no. I'm not going to Italy this year and my body hurts because I'm not going. Even Ethan, who's 10.
I get it. You don't want to do the same thing your friends are doing.
But Italy, everywhere in Italy is different. It's got that little bit different. It's like...
So talk about that a little bit.
Just Italy is amazing. It's phenomenal. I mean, you don't need a filter. You might need it on your face, but you don't need it anywhere else. It's just phenomenal. There's so much that you can get from it, and the train service and the transport's phenomenal. You can just nip on that and get it so cheap. It's just amazing. Very cash. You can delve in and do all the history, or you can step back and just relax. You can go to Florence and just enjoy that. There's so many things you can do. It's just really, really great. And then romantic as well. So if you're doing your honeymoon,
do you have a place that you're just being introduced to kind of our audience? So tell me a little bit about what you do, your company, and how you work directly with JMEP to facilitate all of our clients too.
So I am with the Jet Set Travel Group. I've been working 2.5 years now in the travel agency. I travelled with my family, I do all the time, and so I thought, oh, let's have a look at this world. And I got into the Jet Set Group, which is a wider group in the UK, and we have different branches. And I started working with that, and then I learned more and more about travel in the industry, and we're a free service. A lot of people don't realize the travel industry is a free service.
So if I'm a bride.
You're a bride, yep, go for it.
And I am I'm planning my wedding with Jen or with whoever else. When is the best time for me to contact you to talk about honeymoon or travel or do I want destination? Yes. What does that look like? And there's no fee at all to me.
No. So there's
because I don't think people get that.
No, people don't get it. Because what happens is it comes from the website. So if you go onto a main website like a Royal Caribbean or a Virgin or whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be the Ritz-Carlton yacht. They've already put a commission on. So for a travel agent somebody coming in and selling that product, they've already put it on. It can be up to like 30% sometimes that they've already put on. So you're going to them directly and you're not receiving a concierge service. You're going to have to call a 1-800 number. You're going to have to do that work. When you come to us, we do that work for you. We've built the relationship with business development managers. So if you're in the middle of Europe and something goes wrong, like strikes and different things, you literally just give us a WhatsApp text message and we will fix it.
I think the Paddington Bear story is a really good story.
Oh, Paddington Bear.
To showcase a little bit about what you do. And not that you don't need a travel agent, but when we got married, Matt and I got married 15 years ago, we had a travel agent before it was a thing because I didn't want to deal with it. I understood and thought about, my God, if I'm in another country, because we had 12 people at our wedding, remember, I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to have to try to find or source so part of what JMEP does is we have a travel division which Lauren spearheads, which allows us to then manage all of your travel, manage all of your hotels, manage all of your flights, manage all of that stuff so that you're able to actually enjoy your engagement and enjoy your travel. Because if you are stuck is a wrong word, but if you're in a country, God forbid there's an issue of a plane or you're quite honestly stuck somewhere.
Yeah, it can be.
Your go-to is Lauren. Your go-to is not a 1-800 number of someone you don't know that doesn't speak your language that can't help you. Yeah.
Easy. What does that mean? I had to call a 1-800 number before I was a travel advisor, and I was in the middle of Italy, had to call for something, and it cost me $600, and I have an international plan. But because I was calling the 1-800
phone.
numbers on the phone, there was a
Oh.
nice additional $600 to my bill. So whereas you just WhatsApp me, I'm there 24/7. I can literally be straight on the phone while you're enjoying your margarita, and you'll see everybody panicking. I can be on the phone dealing
You're
with
handling it.
and I'm handling it, and you've paid nothing for that service. So and again, a lot of people don't realise how much is put on. I mean, your clothes, for instance, you go on Amazon, they've already put a commission on that for somebody coming in to selling that product. It's all out there, but we give that, and we have it's free service. You can't go wrong. Concierge, whatever you
Yes.
need.
What are
Happy in
the top destinations that you're seeing?
Europe is still strong, very strong. With
Where
the
in Europe
American
though,
market.
specifically?
I
Like
mean,
we have a really
everywhere.
interesting small little
Everywhere.
location coming up
Yeah,
that
that's-
we're excited about.
That's really good.
Where's
That's a good
this?
one.
Can you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, Madeira. So we're going
Oh,
to
yeah.
that's Madeira, but everywhere in Europe right now is just bursting. I mean, they're wanting, Northern Europe, Southern Europe. They're wanting the Croatias. They're wanting Greece. They're just wanting everywhere. After COVID, a huge change. All of them Americans started to see TikTok, and then they started to see all of this, and they're like, "Ooh, we can go here, we can go here,
And we can do something different.
we can do something different,
We don't
right?"
have
and
to
you know,
do
and
That's the name of the
banquet
game.
hall,
and
yeah.
That's the name of the game.
and a lot of passports are, a lot of
We'll
them have
talk
it.
about that in a little bit. Let's continue to talk
Yeah.
about some. What about safaris? Because I know
Safaris are massive right now, humongous. We have seen that just rise. I mean, it really has. Probably 70-80% of that is it's massive. It's really, really big, and
that's
phenomenal.
because of it's an experience.
It's an
so
experience.
something
It's-
that we've seen across the board
Yeah.
in events, and I'm sure you've seen this too.
No, I was gonna say this is new to me. Safaris.
Oh,
Do you mean the
safaris.
entire wedding group, or is
You
this
can
an
do all.
activity
Yes
before
and
the
yes.
wedding?
Yes and
Okay,
yes.
got it.
Oh yes
Okay.
and yes. You can do the hot air balloon. You can do anything and everything.
Fun.
They can go into more culture. You can
Right.
go see the villages. You can work with them. You can do different projects. You can layer it. You can just go sit at the pool with the giraffes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Have breakfast, and they're coming on in to steal your stuff. But you know what I mean? So you can do it all. We can plan and merge it all however you want it done. And it's quite good prices. We work with different vendors. You can have the extreme, or you can have the 5,000 to 6,000, or you can have
Yeah.
the bigger luxury. It's up to you what you want. You know what I mean? Your Four Seasons, your St. Regis, you can have all that.
So what I'm kind of seeing from what you're saying, and this is we lean on your expertise.
Yeah.
Like I kind of said, experiences are a big factor, and you're going to see that as a trend across
Yeah.
the board in weddings in 26 and 20 into 27 for sure. And I don't think it's ending anytime soon.
Experience.
Whether it's experience with travel, an experience with the food, an experience with all the senses, I think that is something that is a consideration for all of our couples moving forward. And what we like to do is kind of understand what you guys like as a couple and what you're into,
Yeah.
so that we can then take from that and give the experience to your guests.
Yeah.
So the other thing that's kind of an emerging trend is like a mini moon. I know that's not a new word, but something people are doing, and you kind of brought this up. What does that cost? This is new to me. You don't need to
Well, the
treat.
safari
Yeah.
elements. That's
Yeah.
new to
Yeah.
me.
You don't
That's
need to treat your entire guest to a safari, but
Right.
maybe you honeymoon,
Yeah.
or you do a trip beforehand. Because what we are seeing a lot of our brides and grooms, and our grooms and grooms, and our brides and brides. It is Pride Month, by the way. Say and do is they want to get married, and then they want to take a break from all the planning. So I would suggest get married, do your wedding, put all your focus into that. Do a mini moon before, or right after.
Yeah. All
Which
right,
we've
after.
already talked to some of our
Yes.
couples about too. Stay a few days later at a hotel, relax, recoup, do a
Yes.
spa trip,
You do need it.
and then do something 6 months later, 8 months
100%.
later, so that you can regroup
Yeah.
financially and mentally, and then go do your trip afterwards.
There's nothing worse. I remember, I don't know about you guys, but when I was in my 20s and friends were getting married, they would leave the next morning,
Gone.
sometimes stay overnight or spend the night like awake. And I cannot do that anymore. No.
No.
Take
Need
rest,
relaxation.
sleep in, recover. It's been a big
Just
day, big
enjoy.
week.
enjoy
Look
it.
at the recap. Look at all now the day and age that we live in. Everything's instantaneous. So most people have a content creator. You're going to get your content within 24 hours, so you can sit and relax and enjoy all the behind the scenes footage that
Reflect.
you get. Just be married for a little bit. You
Yeah.
know, I think that's something that I certainly didn't do. I was
Did
hosting.
you go away?
We
right
didn't
away?
go
Oh.
anywhere. We were
Okay.
hosting people the entire time because we decided to stay at the resort that we got married at, and we had breakfast, lunch, and dinner with everybody that we were
Yeah.
hosting. which was lovely, but it's also kind of like we never really got a proper honeymoon because we got home,
Yep.
the businesses took over, and
You don't
here
get
we are
into
15
it.
years later and we never really did it. So I think there's something to be said for a mini moon. I think there's something to be said for just a little post-wedding reprieve or like
100%.
retreat,
Yeah.
and then do a big trip just for yourselves. But if you're looking to do a big destination experience for your guests, Safari's super hot, Morocco's super hot, Bali,
Yes, that's a big one.
and
Bali's
then
a
what
big
are
one.
alternatives to Bali if we're not going to do Bali?
I mean,
'Cause it's far.
It's far. It is far. I mean,
Croatia is hot.
Croatia's amazing, beautiful beaches.
You were just
beautiful- No, I was Barcelona and in Italy, but no, I need to get there. I haven't been yet, but I know from lots of clients and family members that have been, it's stunning. It is beautiful, and a lot of people like to go because it's Game of Thrones area. You get to see all that stuff, so a lot of people like that for that. But beautiful, absolutely stunning, breathtaking. Can't go wrong with that. Can't go wrong again. Like we said, Italy. There's so many places to go there. Absolutely stunning.
Is that why Italy's been on the hot list for a couple of years? Just because it's so.
It's beautiful.
Now that brings me to the topic of hotels versus a chateau.
Right.
Thoughts on that? What's the pros and cons?
Pros and cons. Well, it depends. You need to get a nice chateau that has been redone. It's up to date because people think this is going to be beautiful, and then they get there and it's like this was done in the 1500s and it hasn't been updated. So it's about getting the right chateau in
How
the
do
right
they?
area.
They hire you.
Yeah, the higher
they
me.
find that out? I was gonna say,
And it's
it's
always
like
a
they-
Google or a chat
Yeah.
GPT. You can always look that up and get those kinds of things. But it's definitely experience, and what we've worked with and who we work with is, definitely use that experience. It's free. Why not? You know what I mean? That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for. But yeah, you want something new, something that's been renovated recently. And yeah, you want fresh, don't you? Because all think we're going to love that.
Well, they want the photos for the actual wedding, but the hotel rooms are.
And a chateau can be very dark.
Right.
It can be, so you get
Well, it's
light
old.
and-
It's not lit
it's old, it's not
properly.
lit
So then the
properly.
photos suffer.
There you go.
Your videos suffer. You don't get the content that you want, no
No.
matter how you slice it.
No, it's not going to work. So you need that
Yeah.
renovated.
Yeah.
Renewed.
Which brings me to the topic of if you are doing a destination wedding or some type of a honeymoon or a trip. I'm a big fan of a photo shoot everywhere I go.
Oh yeah, so am I. I do the same.
Right?
You
Like
do
I
the
feel
same.
like you
do
hire
the same.
somebody to go and
course.
and what's the best way? I know you've done this internationally. What's the
I
best
do
way
it.
to find
I
someone to
Instagram.
capture your trip or capture a lifestyle session or
Yes.
like any of that?
All of that. So what I do is I literally Instagram. Instagram's my baby. I literally will I'll look at the photos that I like, what I'm looking for, and we yearly do our family photos. So we've done Paris, we've done Barcelona, we're doing Monaco coming up. So we do it yearly, and I've just been very lucky to find phenomenal photographers, and then I use that.
Will you even
them.
use one of the photographers that you
Yes.
found for an upcoming wedding?
Yeah, he's Monaco. He does Monaco weddings and all that jazz. So we reached out, and he was like, "Yeah, work with you." And that was through Vincent again through Instagram. They all know each other. Everybody works. It's a small.
It's nice to have someone who knows the area too.
Yes, and they
For
know the
ring
area.
plans, backup plans.
Because especially in Monaco, you need permission for everything. So you
Correct.
need
That
permission.
was something we learned this year.
Permits.
You need from the
permits.
government.
From the government in Monaco to do anything, you need to have. So the guy
For
was like, "Oh, I
shoots
can get
and
that."
any pictures. Quite honestly, a family
Yeah.
photo shoot you need to have.
Yeah, had to get a permit.
Which
Yeah.
Like okay, so yeah, we had to get the permit. So.
easy to get or
Easy because he knew what to do. He knows the
Yeah,
area.
understood.
He's familiar. Knows the people. He was like, "Listen, I've got that. That's not a problem."
Got you.
It's something I didn't know until obviously he mentioned.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, we learn as we
Yeah,
go.
exactly. We learn as we go. But yeah, phenomenal. And then that builds on with him being a wedding photographer as well. So that's another link in the network. And if you get that, we can always give that to.
So what are the budgeting tips? Because although we are blessed to work with a lot of different people in a lot of different walks of life, everybody has a budget. I don't care what the number is.
Yeah.
Everybody has a budget.
I find.
How do we navigate?
Yes.
That.
It's the B word. So basically,
I hate it.
I hate it.
I hate it. I don't like it.
I don't,
I don't
always
want to
do
talk
it.
about it.
Right away.
Right.
In
I
work,
get it
I
out of
want
the
to
way.
talk about it.
Yes,
But at home, I don't want to talk about it.
No, I don't have a budget. But no, I like to say to the client, what do you want? What are you looking for? Because of course they're going to say, I want this, that, the other. I want a private jet, but I only want to spend $15,000.
By the way.
You know what I mean? You're like, oh, $15,000. Okay, no, that's just not going to happen. So what I say to them is, what do you want? Where would you like to go? What's on your bucket list? Who are you as people? Do you like hiking? Do you like to sit and just have the
Eating,
spa?
wine, cheese, spa. Do you want to chill? Do you want to be off the grid?
Exactly. So you have to get to know the couple a little bit and then see what they want and then go from there. And another thing as well, I always say, go luxury, go high, right? We can always adapt to it.
Scale back if you have to.
Because you don't want to find out later on you could have went
We do the
here,
same
there,
thing.
and everywhere.
Do you kind of work the same way with your couples?
I always start with a budget meeting. It's not
Yes.
fun, but
No.
necessary to book everything
Yeah.
else, of course. I always like to use the phrase, like, if money wasn't
Yes,
an option, because I need to learn about them, what their priority is,
Yeah.
what, if money was no problem, do you want X, do you want Y? Because to your point, you could maybe, I call it massaging the budget, like moving things around.
You can manipulate it. You
Yes.
can change things. You can take transport.
There's
out,
places
you
to
can
spend and
change
places to save. I don't
Yeah.
care if you're spending a couple $1 million or a couple.
Yeah.
There's always places to spend and
Yes.
places to save.
So I say, let's pretend money was an object. What's your dream?
Yeah, that's it.
And then a lot of times we have to be the bearer of not bad news, but just say,
Realism.
well, no one likes to hear the word no, but
Yeah.
we try to make it happen, even if it's not the exact thing that they want.
But we also know the business development managers. We know what's coming in the market new, and if you get in with a new product, a new place, it can be extremely cheap. I should use the word.
Well, I think that's where
budget
Croatia
friendly.
came in.
Yeah,
Because Croatia was hot, started being hot about a year ago because it was like a secondary
inexpensive.
option to Italy, I feel.
It is, yeah.
Because it's got similar views, but it was unfound and it was super inexpensive.
I hate to
Became
say it
very
this way,
popular.
but like people don't know any better sometimes in newer destinations, and then once they get enough bookings, they start seeing their costs
No,
go
certainly.
up, but-
That's what
Yes,
we're
that's
seeing
what
with
we're seeing.
our upcoming event.
Yeah, it's going to be.
It's not
people are
till next
catching
year,
on.
but it's a newer space, and with a newer space comes lesser options.
Yes.
There's not a lot to choose from there.
Yeah.
As far as like florists, there's two.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
There's not
our
a lot.
vendors are a smaller group, so we can't be
Yeah.
fussy. Like if you're doing a destination wedding,
You've got to take that.
you
unfortunately.
you got to kind of think about
But
that.
if you have a planner and a great team,
Yeah,
then we
yeah.
can
Oh,
try to
absolutely.
make it.
We're gonna take care of
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
A
yeah,
million
yeah.
percent.
Exactly.
I would love, Lauren, to hear, and this is kind of pivoting a little
Yeah, yeah,
bit,
yeah.
but I would love to hear some travel stories
Oh,
of
Lordy. Oh, Lordy.
of like good stuff that you've learned from,
Good
but
stuff.
also like a shit show that you've also learned from.
Yeah, no, there's a few there.
Whether it's wedding related or just things people can learn from about
Yeah.
how to travel better.
Yeah.
I think packing is a whole thing we need to talk
Yeah,
about.
mhm.
How to
Packing.
pack, what to pack.
Yeah.
Not packing for,
Yeah.
because we have people that even come to Florida. This happened last weekend. It was a gentleman who's a groomsman from California, and we have a wedding coming up in California, which is funny next week, but he thought that hot was hot. Like California, he thinks it's hot. It's 80 degrees right now in California. He came into Florida and it's 96 degrees on the regular here, beating down sun, and it's hot. He didn't pack any shorts. So at our rehearsal, his big thing was, where do I go buy shorts? I'm dying. I'm so hot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where are you from? He's like, California. I'm like, isn't it hot in California? He's like, it's different hot.
Different heat.
So
Different heat.
packing for where you're going is
Different
super
heat.
important.
Oh, very
too, which I
important.
will talk about, like bringing a stylist in and helping you with all that too.
Yeah.
But
No.
back to the point of,
It's packing is a big one. You've got to make sure that you've done. I'll get a lot of the time people will go, well, I found this flight cheaper, and the first one thing I'll say is, yeah, that's basic economy. That doesn't
Yes.
include your luggage,
Comfort.
and doesn't include that luggage. So when you go, that's a $600 one way. So there's $1,200 you've just had to pay for your luggage. And like me,
Yeah.
I'm always overweight.
Of course. but
so
there's tricks to that too.
tricks. There's tricks. I've also found a trick. I've literally just mailed off my luggage to the UK, so I don't have to deal with it in the south of France.
Love.
So it's been luggage. There's a luggage. I can tell you the app to go to it. They pick it up. They taxi it to the airport. It goes. It's delivered.
And this is all part of having someone help you.
And that's and it's all done. There's just those little things. Visas, for instance, people don't know that they need visas. You need a visa to go to the UK now.
What's the latest and greatest on the travel stuff? What's happening?
What's happening? What do you mean with?
I have a star on my ID. Am I solid?
Yes, you're good. So the
Yeah.
real ID, you're solid. You're solid.
Real ID,
I
yeah.
did see somebody come through, and they didn't have a real ID, so they gave them like a flag on the ID to double check them. But yeah, the real ID, you've got to have a star on your license to travel inside the United States. If not, you've got to use your passport. And again, that's another
we have
subject.
that too.
A lot of people don't have passports, so a lot of people want to travel on the birth certificate. And the cruising
What's the
world
wait
you can.
time?
That's
What's-
outdated, yeah.
Very
I have
outdated.
a
What's the
stamp
wait-
on my passport,
It's-
on my
oh,
birth certificate.
Oh, bless you.
From
yes.
like 20, 30 years
You've
ago.
got to use a certain birth certificate as well. You've got to
I'm
use a
sure.
certain one, you've got to use a certain type, so there's certain things you have to do. I just say get a passport, it's easy breezy. You've got it there for years, 10 years, 5 years for kids, and you've got it.
What's the wait time on getting a passport these days?
It can be like 2 to 3 weeks, and you can also rush it.
Megan,
So
are
can-
you still
can
waiting on your
rush.
passport? Megan's off camera, but she's here.
Bug over here.
Oh, there might be.
But yeah,
No, I still don't have it.
And that was
But I didn't rush it.
well. That's fine, but
that's
I
fine.
just recently did it.
You can always Google.
Because I had a hold up on.
no, I understand. But like that was a couple. Like we're not getting it in a few weeks. We're getting it in a few
Yeah.
months.
Debbie rushed hers and she got it in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can do, yeah. So I always say well before you travel. I've had people don't do it, and you can go to an appointment if you've got like an emergency and you haven't got it in time. You can get those, and we can help with that as well. So there's just
You've
really
tracked Charlotte's down, or what? No, Rochelle's. You tracked Rochelle's down.
Oh yes, that
For the
was-
girls.
Yes, for the girls. We all had to. Yeah, we were phoning everywhere to get it, but she managed to get it on time. She did. She got it on time.
She was
bless
leaving
her.
last summer.
Where are they going?
Is at the places, because they have a place in Miami for those.
They do.
They're opening a new one in Orlando.
Orlando as well, yes. So Orlando, because the increase of Americans getting passports,
Yeah.
it used to be before COVID. I think only 1% of Americans had passports.
That is nuts, no
and
way.
some people hadn't left their own county. Like the number that hadn't left their own county line.
That's a whole other
was phenomenal.
podcast.
That's
I
a
think
whole-
it's just
yeah,
nice to have, like, I've traveled, but if you haven't, like, just get it, then you
get
don't
it.
have to worry about it, so you're all set and ready to
Just
go.
get it. And that's one of my first questions to clients. Do you have a passport? Yes, but is it in date? And the amount
Right.
that go, no, and you're like, okay, before you book,
crazy.
go please do this, and we'll get your passport, because you're gonna be very careful. If you owe taxes, you are not getting a new
Yeah.
tax. If you owe any child support, you're not getting a new passport. They're not going to give you that. So you've got to be very careful when you start planning with somebody. You've got to go through the passport and all that jazz beforehand.
So when would you say is a good time for them? Now, in a perfect world, we're gonna plan together because it works great.
Yeah.
You book us as your planner. We work together with our planning team, or you book a planner in general that knows what they're talking about. Like, that's it. That for me is the first thing that you need to do, because they're gonna help you with locations, venues, all of the ins and outs, budgeting, how things, because you don't know because you've never done this before.
Exactly. Or even if you have, times have changed, even
Yeah.
within 5 years.
Yeah.
I get a lot of time moms
Yes.
who are lovely, and we just had a mom and daughter couple in here this morning planning their daughter's wedding, and she's like, I haven't done a wedding in 30 years.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
what this
Everything
looks
is-
like. What are
yeah.
we doing? What are all the things? And we're here to kind of educate and also inform
Yeah, advise.
and kind of be
It's advise, and it's all
Yeah.
I can do. Like literally, I'm just.
all I can do
advising
is
on
give you
this.
information and you guys make
take it.
decisions based on it.
Yes, that's the whole thing too.
So I think what we did for our most latest couple that's getting married abroad is you probably gave them 15 or 20 options.
Yeah, we gave options. They came in with amazing options as well, and we kind of went back and forth. But it was a case of the altitude sickness. You got to think
Are you
about
talking about
altitude
locations?
That's a really
Locations.
good point.
It was altitude sickness
Because
You
they
want
were
them all to be
interested, and I
sick.
brought up Paddington in Peru.
Paddington, Peru.
But
Yeah.
they were interested in Peru.
Yeah.
And our advisors abroad said you can't go to Peru for 3 days.
No.
You have to go to Peru for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Because it's so mountainous that the different locations that you
You're
would
not
be
just
going
taking an Uber.
No, it's not
it's,
nice and
you're-
flat.
everyone's going to be sick.
Yeah.
So a big consideration is getting the altitude sickness adjustment. You can't just go here, go here, go here, go here. You have to make your way up the mountain because they are so large.
Yeah.
And have the experiences. And there's not large locations for this wedding specifically. Has about 200 guests.
That's a big.
It wasn't something
Yeah.
that we could put 20 people in a little lodge or a
Yeah.
little casita somewhere.
Yeah.
It was more. It was a bigger ask. So that was like
Out. Yeah.
not a thing.
Yep, and then you just got to look at the travel advisory levels, at the high, at the low, what we're looking at. And another thing, like you said earlier, temperature. You know, you've got to deal with that. Somebody said to me, a client was like, I'm going to Dubai in the summer. Oh, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Oh, no, girl.
No,
Do you
no.
want your skin to peel off? Like,
Right.
literally, no joke.
Yeah.
I mean, they literally sell ice blocks that
You
are
are
bigger
not
than this table
accustomed.
going into a swimming pool.
You're
That's
still
no.
getting accustomed
That's
to
no.
Florida.
Yeah, Florida.
know,
yeah.
I know.
So,
So
like,
no.
you know.
No. So Dubai, I always say off shoulder, it's going to be October to March. That's your perfect time to go
Yeah.
to Dubai.
So
and
when are we
enjoy that.
going?
We are going soon. We're
Okay.
doing that. That's getting planned.
Okay.
Love.
Got to plan that.
I'm gonna start planning my outfits, which brings me to
Yes.
Packing.
Packing cubes are
packing cubes,
I am all for
Amazon,
it.
and we'll put a
Amazing.
link up in this.
Yes.
Uriel will
Amazing.
make sure that there's a link in this somehow. But a packing cube is my best friend. I am a last minute packer. I don't care if I'm going across the globe or down the street. I pack the night before. I can't fix it. It's just something about myself that I know. You're the same way. But packing cubes are amazing, and they put your outfits together. They give you purpose. I put my earrings, I put my shoes, I put everything in every outfit cube. And then I take a picture before I put it in the cube so I know what's in the cube, and I print out that picture, I put it on top of the cube, and I pack it so that I don't have to unpack too much. Because when you unpack too much in a small hotel room,
And if you're going 2
you
days,
don't, or you're
Yes,
going here, you're
exactly.
going there, you're bopping around, you're not staying in the same place, which is pretty standard.
Yeah.
You unpack what you need to unpack when you're there. You steam the stuff that you have to steam or send it to countries or whatever. That is, I'm an overpacker if I don't do it that way. I will literally.
I will go crazy.
We've traveled together enough that it's always a thing.
It's a thing. It's a thing. It's like two days.
And then we don't wear half of it.
No, but it's just to have the
better safe.
option.
Yes.
I've literally been on a cruise and packed correctly, and it went 2 days over.
Yeah.
So take my husband. So I'm like, I might take less, and it might end up having an extension.
Oh, I
to
don't
it,
care
you
about
know
the
what I mean? But no, packing is phenomenal. I thought first it was just going to be, one of those things like, amazing, especially with kids.
And they're super cheap. They're
Oh,
like
gosh,
20
yes.
bucks.
Oh, that's so cheap, and you get a huge selection, 12 sets and things like that. And you can do different colours for the family, which is also
Agreed.
good. Love it. Different colours for the family. So
We
everybody
colour
knows
code.
where we are. Big thing on that, and it does save time, especially if you're in Italy and you're chopping and changing, and you're doing 2 days here and 2 days here. And I love
Comfy
a cruise.
shoes,
Comfy
obviously.
shoes all the time. I'm like, comfy shoes. It's all about the comfort. You don't want to be miserable walking around on cobbles and all that jazz. But yeah, don't take a big case to Italy. You get fined, in Italy if you're going down the staircase.
Okay, what?
If you're making noise and you're making that noise coming down, you're not picking it up and carrying it, they'll fine you. You will get fined.
So what other tips international travel do you have, such as like those little things?
Those little things, I would say, always check in. The amount of people that don't check in before a flight, and we can do that for you. We can check in, make sure you've got your seat.
Well, you get the alerts and
You get
everything.
your alerts, everything. Always check in. Use that app. Check in the night before. Do that, because if something happens to the plane, you're not getting on board. And another big thing is air miles. Always, it doesn't matter if you're just going once.
What's a good credit card to get before you
Chase
start
is
traveling?
good, and
Chase,
American
Sapphire,
Express.
and
Yes.
Platinum.
Very
Nice
good,
Platinum.
very good. I highly recommend them. Worth the price, and then you get the bits and pieces. Chase is good. Chase is very good. Recommend that. And like I say, you have to get the air miles. You might use it once, but they will keep you on board. If something happens
When
to
you
a
get the
plane,
perks and you get the
they'll
lounges and you
keep
get
you
the
on board because they think, oh right, you're a customer. It doesn't matter if you haven't flown once. John did BA once, and we got upgraded
John's
to
your husband.
business
You
class.
got it.
Yes, her husband. Yes, and he got upgraded to business class. He had no miles, no nothing, but he just had the blue rewards, and he got on. So I always say, get the air miles. Doesn't matter if you're going to use it once. If something happens to that plane and they have to get a smaller plane, your
You
mum
get
is not
priority.
on that
You're the
seat.
perk. You're getting the
You're the
perk.
priority. You're getting the perk. So that's always a big recommendation. Again, the travel credit cards are a massive plus. Also, knowing the destination you're going to. In Italy, for example, always take little tissues for the bathrooms. Little Kleenex tissues, because they might not have toilet roll in the bathrooms.
Huh.
I feel like half
Yes.
of the toilets didn't even have lids.
Yes, some of them are different. Some of them are different. So, have your Purell and have your little Kleenex little packs is a very big handy thing. So that is very handy to have. And then what else? Visas. Just make sure you've got your visas. Make sure you know, in time. And that again is something that we do. We'll make sure you've got those visas for those countries.
Something that I've always found interesting is that I know we have a lot of people that are traveling into Florida for weddings, and that's where our home office is. When I travel, I want to feel as though I fit in aesthetically. I don't want to feel as though I look like a tourist.
So it is
In Florida, when people come here and it's 70 degrees and they're wearing shorts and a tank top, I get it that you guys are hot because you're not used to it. That's fine. But how do we gauge get our couples ready for travel to different
countries
countries or
yes.
climates?
Yes.
Is a thing. And same thing vice versa, because in Chicago, I don't know how to be warm. like if I'm going and we go because we flip flop seasons, and thankfully it's not cold in Chicago in June, July, and August. But
Right.
I've done weddings there where it is chilly, and like it's just always interesting to me to educate people of how to dress, what to do, how to like make sense of it.
I like a pashmina. I have them for the layers for the because you get on an airplane, it's freezing.
Well, Florida's cold.
Well,
and
I always wear a
inside,
jacket.
everyone keeps the
Right.
AC at 62 degrees.
I always have my jacket, and everybody laughs because they're like, it's summer. What are you doing? You're like, because it's freezing
It's
inside,
freezing, yeah.
and I'm mostly inside.
Yes.
I'm not sitting outside.
It's hot outside, but freezing inside.
Yes, so you've always got to have that jacket. You've got to have that. Like Italy, for example, you would never wear what you wear in Florida to go to Italy because it just you stand
They
out
don't
like a
have
sore
air
thumb.
conditioning,
Like you don't wear gym gear.
Yeah,
ever.
actually, that's what
Ever.
brought this up for me because you were like,
Yeah,
I know
no.
you're going to be running around and doing all the
Yeah.
trekking and doing, but you can't.
No.
You cannot wear like leggings and sneakers.
And don't ask for a cappuccino after 11.
Yeah.
Because they will. They don't do milk. The Italians. They are like, no. Isla wanted milk at 5 o'clock, and Isla wanted our milk, and they did not serve her our milk. They're like, no, because it's bad for your stomach. So they.
So what's the
after
rules
11,
on the coffee?
Coffee, yeah, good with coffee, but a cappuccino, milky
No milk
cappuccino.
after.
No, after 11 o'clock, it's like, it really is.
But
like
gelato
espresso, yeah?
Yeah, espresso. You can have a
Espresso,
normal
yeah.
latte, but not a milky one, because they believe that there's certain times you drink your milk for your, for everything. So they
There's
don't like
judgment
it.
there.
There is
But
judgment.
yeah,
But,
there's gelato.
there's gelato.
Which-
I don't know, but it is a thing.
Third format.
Yeah, they would not give
yeah.
a they
And
would
all
not
the
give a cold
cheese.
milk at dinner time. Should ask 7 or 8 should wait us, and they were like, nope.
Isla's also
My niece. So
a
yeah.
teenager
She's a teenager.
who
And yes,
knows all of
she-
these things and
she-
is very well traveled.
Yes, and she nope, wouldn't give it to her. She was,
Okay.
"Take my milk."
If I have a couple who is choosing between a cruise and a traditional honeymoon,
Yeah.
how would you guide them to make that decision? Because you've cruised a
I
ton.
cruise. I'm a cruiser. I've cruised since 1994. So since I was
So when
10,
you-
I'm
so you were
23.
5?
Yeah, 10. Yeah, well, no, I wish 3. It's 3. It's 3. No, but like cruising for me is phenomenal because you can literally unpack and you're there. Your
Yeah.
destination might be day to day. Europe's different. Europe is day to day. So sometimes you're not getting days off. You're not getting to relax because you're literally off. Everything's so close in Europe that you're like literally there, okay, and then so you're not getting that relaxation. If you were going on a honeymoon, I would say like the Ritz-Carlton yachts. I would do Explorer Journeys, bougier, smaller, more intimate is the key, and you can also charter your own one, and it can be like
That was one of my
inexpensive.
questions,
It
like,
can
what
be
does that look
inexpensive.
like?
It's not bad. You can get your crew, you
per
can have your
person and
food,
all of that,
and
it's-
per person and things like that. You could do 2 days, you
And
could do
that's something
3.
they can do through you.
You can
Okay.
do anything with travel, and that comes from any tickets, anything to do with travel, transportation, the lot. And sometimes people don't know where they want to go. They want to go to 7 to 8 different places.
Right,
That's
that's
where we
good for
come
that,
in.
yes.
They get overwhelmed. People are like, I don't know where to go, like, or what to do in those time frames. Whereas we literally work with partners that know, don't go to Venice for 2 days. You only need to go to Venice for 1 day. You've seen it. It's lovely. In the summer, it's nails.
Well, you were
know what I
just
mean?
over there, Europe last summer.
Yep.
Well, you're there all the time, but you were just there last summer, and you were there for a month, if I remember. And you were shopping, and we love a shop.
Oh, I love a shop.
We love a shop.
I love a shop.
But if you're in the same place and you're shopping for too long, or you have too many of the same
Yeah.
redundancies,
Yeah,
you see
you
the same
texted
things.
me and you're like,
Yeah.
I'm out. I'm ready to be done.
I'm done. Yeah, because you can only go so many times. And
I don't even remember where you were.
I don't remember. I was in Italy. In Italy, don't get your linen from Zara. Just go and get your. When you go to Italy, go get your linen in Italy.
Yeah.
It's cheap as chips. You're not having to drag it with you.
That's a
You
good
Love that.
tip.
It's a
So
good tip.
don't pack
Don't do it.
when you're planning on shopping because you're gonna buy when you're
Yes.
shopping. So leave space
You
in
get
your
to wear what
suitcase.
you
And
want.
tax-free shopping.
Yes.
So you can get.
That's a really good. How do we do that?
So-
how do we? Because
Yes.
I don't know how to do that
Oh,
when
I
I
know.
travel and do and buy and all of that
Ask
stuff.
the stores, well, you'll find, yeah.
So yeah, when you go to store, especially if you're getting a Chanel, you can get Chanel up to 14% tax back. And then also because there's no import charge, you're saving a fortune on the import charge, and you're in Europe, so sometimes they'll have different bags to America. So you're getting all of that in one. So you're saving thousands.
They give you,
on-
you have to ask though. I
You do.
learned that.
You have to ask. You have to ask. And
For the
I,
paperwork.
I always say just take a picture of your passport because a lot of people think you have to go in with it. You don't. You can just take a picture and you're good to go. Show it. They can automatically do it now in the place that you're shopping, or they have little kiosks, little areas around town that you can do it, and or you can go to the airport as well
At the airport,
and do
I
the
do that.
airport. Yes.
Kind of like before you board.
Yes. make sure, because there's a lot of people that don't and they run off and they make
I know.
it's not good. But you can save a fortune.
So not
It
as
is fun as shopping, but my very first time traveling internationally was to Japan. My sister lives
That's
there.
a big one right now.
And I did not know better. I did not put anything in my carry-on. I packed everything,
And that's a big
checked
one.
it.
Go
My
on.
bag got lost in China. Thank God I didn't have any medication or something.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like people need
Yeah.
to understand that
Yes.
your bag might get lost.
Oh,
Whether
yes.
it's going from one state to another.
Even
or
if you're on
different
time.
country. If you're on time, it's not your fault.
No,
It's, who knows
just
what
happens.
But I've learned to change or bring a change of clothes, my makeup,
100%.
anything that if I were to lose, I wouldn't be devastated.
Yes.
valuables.
Yeah, all your valuables, your
watches,
medication,
sunglasses.
all of that. And enough if you've got 2 to 3 days, so you don't have to go
Yeah.
shopping. It's always a good excuse to go shopping, but you don't want to be doing that. It's just a panic.
Assume that it's gonna be lost.
Just that's what I say. I literally that is the especially for weddings. If you've got destination weddings, we just had a bride and she was just saying, "Where do I put my where do I put my dress?"
I had
And
a conversation this
oh,
morning.
did you? And I said, "Okay, you know, some will have, depending on the plane, some will have. You can use the cabin cruise area, the wardrobe and things.
class.
Some don't have it, but just carry that like it's your baby and don't let it go. That's basically what to do. And you can always put it on the overhead and things like that. So there's options, but never put that in your luggage.
No.
No, just don't do that because that just gives me the frights. That gives me the oh
I
my
don't mean to
lord.
laugh. That
No,
I
but
have
it's
not
just like,
experienced.
oh.
There's always, we think we've experienced
Yeah.
it all, and we definitely have not.
No, that's a definite one. You have to carry that. That is your baby. Take that on board
Yeah,
with you.
I had a
100%.
bride, I think it was United, I'm not sure. She said that United will not allow dresses in the overhead.
Some don't.
Some
you got to
don't.
check.
I mean, this is
Google.
Who knows?
You got to do
Yeah.
the Google. You got to call them in and say, listen, can this be done in this plane? Are we allowed to do that? And go through it. And take carry-on. If you can get it in a carry-on, just take the carry-on with
I
you.
I was speaking to a mother this morning, and I told her you can also go on your app and see what seats are empty. I was like,
Yes.
worst case, maybe you can place it.
Sometimes you have to buy a seat.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah, I didn't think about that.
If it's a
That's
big-
definitely insuring.
You know, and you've got to think about that when you're travelling and you're doing destination weddings. How big do you want the dress? And your climate for that wedding as well. Do you know what I mean? You're going to be, it's going to be too hot. You know what I mean? You don't want that big dress and you don't want to carry it.
When they arrive, every wedding I have, whether it's local or destination, they always ask me where to get things dry cleaned.
Yes.
So do that homework in advance.
Yes.
Do your research of what dry cleaners are available, what the pickup looks like,
Yeah.
delivery.
100%.
Yeah.
It's always the best way. Best way to go.
Back.
Have any of you guys ever had any lost luggage situations?
I have, yes. I had a situation, I was going to London just for the weekend, stupidly was like, I'll put my carry-on bag underneath, good to go. And then there was a flight, I think it was it was one of the flights had went on fire in London Heathrow, everything was stopped. And then when we got there, it was 10 o'clock at night and the workers wasn't working anymore, they were done. So there was nobody getting our luggage off. So we had to go the whole weekend with no luggage, and my luggage made it back like the flight before
You got it
me.
back, yeah.
Yeah, but it made it on the flight before me. So I had to go shopping very quickly, and it was London, and it was so hot.
Yeah.
It was brutal. So we had to go quickly and get the summer gear. But that takes about half a day to go and do all that.
Things planned and
It's gonna rock. It's gonna just ruin your time. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I never put the carry on.
lesson learned when I went to my sister's wedding in Japan.
She was
Ooh,
getting
that's
married.
cool.
It
That's
was
cool.
so cool. Such a
What was the
unique
draw there?
experience. What was the? Oh, she lives there. She lives there.
wow.
I know. Yeah, I had never been. So I was saying earlier that I had put nothing in my carry-on. I had only checked everything. Big mistake. I had, being the wedding planner that I am, I had a pair of scissors in my suitcase, which got flagged.
I've traveled with my knife
Yes.
many times.
But
My
it was
knife
checked.
has gotten flagged so many
It
times.
was checked though.
I swear, guys, I'm like 120 pounds soaking wet, but I got knives. I got shit in my fanny. I got what? Nail glue, eyelash glue, a knife, and probably lip gloss.
Sure.
Like at all times. But I forget to take it out.
Safety pins.
So when
Oh,
I'm
yes.
when
I
I'm
have
traveling,
pepper spray,
safety
too.
pins for sure, deodorant.
Yeah.
But I forget to take it out. So I've a couple of times. It's not that I'm trying to like wreak havoc. I forget that it's in there.
Yeah.
So now I have a checklist before I get on a plane of things to remove, things to
Yes.
pack, things to not pack. Make sure
Even
that
lighters can stop. I mean, if you lose a lighter, fine. But I had a nice pair of scissors. I didn't want to lose that, you know. But yeah, so when I flew to Japan, my luggage did not arrive. I arrived I mean, this is my first time flying internationally, so many lessons were learned. But I got in at like 11 p.m. on a Saturday. Her wedding was going to be at like 11 a.m. on a Sunday. And this was Osaka, so pretty rural. There was nothing open other than one gas station. And I had promised my sister that I would do her makeup for her wedding. I did not do makeup. So I go to the gas station, I get a pair of granny panties.
They sold underwear at the gas station?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, thank God. Yeah, I don't know why I said yes, like duh, but yeah. I don't know.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
Wonderful and weird things in Japan.
Yeah.
Some weird things.
I mean, it was a pair. It got the job done, kept me clean, you know.
Yeah.
But I ended up borrowing an outfit from her mother-in-law, who is stereotypical petite Japanese woman. I'm not massive, but compared to her, I'm
Yeah.
6'5", 6'6".
They don't
So I
have-
wore her outfit, one of her outfits at the wedding. Nobody knew, but oh my God.
You fixed it.
You fixed it.
I fixed
Name
it.
of the
There's
game
always a
is
solution.
your planners fix it.
Yeah, you pivot.
Yes.
You pivot. You learn to pivot.
Everybody
You're very
fixes
good
it.
at
Have you
that,
had
yeah.
luggage lost before?
Our biggest story of luggage lost was actually, funny enough, my brother's wedding. And it wasn't lost, it was misplaced and mishandled. So, Matt, you guys will eventually meet him. He's a little camera shy. Ariel and Matt are best friends. And
nice.
Matt's like the salt of the earth guy. But he's not super camera friendly. But when you get him going, he doesn't shut up. But anyway, we were going to my brother's wedding in Philadelphia. Not international, but plane. We had our kids. Colton wasn't alive yet. Jackson, no, that's a lie. Colton was like 3 months old. We traveled with a nanny, thank God, which it's a whole other topic, but
Yeah.
always travel with a nanny.
Yes.
I understand it's an expense, but it is
It's worth
a
it.
luxury that you just really need to have.
Yes.
Thank you, Meg. Fix my hair. So we were traveling, and Colton, the little guy, was like 3 months old. Jackson was the ring bearer in the wedding, and he was 2. Not quite 2. No, because they're not even that old, that separate. Maybe a year and a half. Anyway, we got on this plane. It was our first time traveling with our 2 kids. Thank God we brought a nanny. The nanny had the baby and everything was fine. We got stuck on the airplane for like 3 or 4 hours, and it was downpouring outside. And the reason we were stuck is because of storms. They wouldn't let us fly because there were thunderstorms. Well, lovely enough, our luggage was left in the storm because they were on the tarmac.
outside.
Yeah. The tarmac workers were flagged that they couldn't work anymore in the midst of them putting our baggage under the plane. So our luggage, although okay, wasn't anything great, everything got wet.
That's why I say shell suitcase.
Every
what to do with
so
it.
we need to
Was
put a
it
link
fabric?
up.
A shell,
and
yes.
We need to put a link up in this
Yes,
too.
I'm a Samsonite girl.
It,
I'm a Samsonite.
it
same.
was soaking wet. So we got
Was it
there.
fabric? Or did it come
It
out
was
in
it
through
was
the
a
seam?
plastic fabric kind of mesh thing.
Okay.
And the suit was in a thing. It doesn't matter. It was sitting out in the rain for 3 hours. It doesn't matter. So my stuff was okay because it was underneath. Matt's stuff was drenched. And we went to get it dry cleaned at the hotel. We were staying at the Logan in Philadelphia.
Okay.
And they were lovely. And they dry cleaned it within like 12 hours. And it came and it was this much shorter because it was a wool like fitted suit. So he wore to the wedding this suit. We had to get a new
Were the
shirt.
arms shortened too? Like-
Everything was short.
Oh, no.
Thank God we could get him a new shirt, which didn't really matter. But it was way too small. But there was no options because the wedding was the next day.
Thank
So
God he's a fake guy too.
he can't. It has to be fitted, right? So he just looked ridiculous. But it was like short, and he just like, what are we gonna do?
No socks. You know,
No,
it's
yeah, no
trend
socks.
setter.
But that wasn't a trend back
No, it wouldn't be
then.
that
10 years
no.
ago, it
Now
wasn't a
is,
trend.
but no, he's trend setting.
Right.
He didn't know he was trend setting.
Didn't know.
Yeah, he had no other options.
Bless.
Because we couldn't get a suit fitted fast enough for the wedding, which was the next day. I was planning the wedding, so I flew in a little bit early, but not early enough to fix all the
fix
things.
that. I get you.
So,
Yes.
that was weird.
Yeah.
That has never happened again, but we did have luggage stuck in a storm and get
Not good.
wet.
It happens. It happens. I had a customer, a client that was flying Virgin, and somebody had an emergency and had to stop, and they were having a heart attack. So everything got stopped, and then they had to reshuffle everything and lost luggage again, and had to get it a few days later. And if you're doing like a mini moon or something like that, you've only got a certain amount of days.
Yeah.
It happened to me where I got home and my luggage was there before me, but I had no luggage, so I had to go buy everything again. So that's what you don't want to be doing. Do you know what I mean? You want to just
Oh, it takes time out of
carry
your
on.
travel.
Yeah.
And you don't want that, especially if you're doing that many moves.
If you have an itinerary and things that you're planning to
and
do.
You're just going straight off. You don't want to be dealing with that.
Which I think this is probably my last question, and then we'll figure out if there's more things to chat about and if we have questions. But how strict should an itinerary be? Because I am a sucker for a spreadsheet.
I love a spreadsheet.
But is it me being
No.
too, like, I want to plan everything. I want to know where I'm at when I'm there, so I can plan the outfits, I can plan the travel, I can plan who's taking me to and from, that we have tickets, that we have all the things.
It's good to be organised, but it depends on the people. You've got some people are like, no, I just want to go now, I want to chill. And you're like, okay. And then I give them links and I'll say, here's your links. If you want to book something, then you can book it. And I'm here as well for you. If you want and you wish for anything, we can help you while you're out there. And some people are like yourself, and I like to know where I'm going, what I'm doing, because you want to get the most out of it,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But it depends on the person and how much they travel. If they're traveling Europe, now because I travel so much, somebody said, you sound like you're just going to Bradenton. Like, I'm like, oh, I've got to go here to the south of
But it's
France.
normal
and
for you.
they're like, but that's normal now, right? So if you're traveling all the time, it's normal that you're going to Europe, but you're like, I've been here before, I'm good to go, I'm just going to chill, and I'm just going to potter around, maybe shopping and things like that. So everybody's different. So you kind of got to get an idea on the couple, what they're like and what they're doing. And some people just want to sit and chill, they don't want to do anything.
I would say
which is hard for me.
transportation.
And
Transportation is the thing to
I
think
always
of.
have-
Is communication something to consider? I would assume it's something to
Yes.
consider.
Yeah, so you got transport. I'm always like, get your transport from your airport if it's, and I know the destinations that are difficult, so get that transport booked. It's easy, and they're going to meet you and greet you
Yeah.
and get you there. And then the city ones where it's easy, you can just get in the cab and go, or you can Uber in certain countries. You can just use your Uber. That's what I do a lot of the time. I'll just Uber. So there's different things, but I always recommend get your transport, get there, have that organised if that's what you want to do, and communication and WhatsApp. And all the hotels in Europe and the rest of the world are WhatsApp. So you've got your concierge, you've got all that, and I love WhatsApp for that. So I always use that.
What is, let's like end on our funniest story with travel.
Oh, Lordy. I'm trying to think.
I think my funniest story with travel is with us together when we traveled recently, honestly,
Oh, well, that was interesting, yes.
which is just
Where did you go?
only to Miami.
It was only Miami.
Okay.
We just
was
went to
an
Miami and we stayed a few days and we explored a couple of new hotels and a couple of new restaurants. And one of the restaurants did us dirty.
Yeah.
And we've traveled
It's a famous
together
one
a
as well.
bunch, so we are quite good at sharing a room and sharing experiences. I actually
Makes you
prefer
friends
it.
quicker.
I prefer to share a room. I don't like to
I'm
be by
not-
myself with you at this point.
No, I'm like,
But we took turns thankfully it was a suite and the restroom was separate, but we all night were taking turns
yeah.
making sure the restroom got used
Yes.
because the food from the restaurant definitely was not.
No, I literally when I
good
picked it up
choice.
and put it in my mouth, I could feel myself.
Like
go,
we got home and we're early bedtime,
early
like
bedtime.
asleep by 10 o'clock. We're
No,
not like
no.
raging.
No.
And went to dinner, had a nice dinner, got home, went to bed, and it was like clockwork.
4 o'clock in the morning, taking I was like, I woke up, I was like, this is a nice hotel room, this is a nice bed. I just want to lie down and relax and enjoy
sweating.
the bed. Sweat, it wasn't pleasant. It was like a scene from Bridesmaids.
Oh no. Was it 24 hours?
It was
like
like 8. Yeah, it was like 8 hours. It was like one of those ones, and it was a really good restaurant.
It was
a famous
like very well
restaurant.
known. The
Very well
footballers
known.
go very
Yeah.
well known. I'm not
like-
going to say the name,
No.
but if you
Yeah.
DM, I'll tell you because I
Yeah.
don't want this to happen to
No,
you.
no.
But
It was interesting.
it was
It wasn't worth the price either.
no, very pricey.
no,
We
very
checked
pricey.
our check several times because we're like,
We're like,
we don't
what?
eat that much.
We were sharing. We were like, oh no, because we're not going to eat all that food. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But I knew when I ate it. You know when you just go and I was like, oh.
So you can tell something. Yeah.
Yeah, I just
think
knew
your body
something was
warns
off.
you. Like
Yeah, I didn't listen. And,
Didn't
No,
listen.
didn't listen.
Got back
No.
and relaxed.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I mean, that was something
Yeah, that's always hilarious.
we'll take away.
Do you know what it is? Travel makes you closer. It can either
Yes,
tear you apart or it
so
can make you
true.
closer. So we have a thing in England where it's the make or break.
Yes.
Make or break.
Well, we did that our first
relationship.
trip.
We did. Honestly, I was so nervous on our first trip. I was like, oh, we don't like each other. Like, oh,
We did that our first trip and we went all in.
Did you
7
share
day
it?
cruise. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
7 day
shared
cruise.
It was all in. It was all on and off. And I was like, oh no. But it was good. Easy.
We're
You're
great.
easy to travel with. No bother. Anything's just easy.
If you
Easy
want to go do
breezy.
your thing, go do your thing. I don't
Yeah.
care.
I love
person
that.
you need to be with. Yes.
100%. I'm not like I need to be with you all time. No, leave me be. I'm in the spa. I'm doing nothing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Nothing. Oh, I love that. But yeah, you got to get the right. You know what I mean? It's another question you've got to ask couples: are you a window or aisle before they get married?
Oh.
Things you don't think about. If you've two windows. Oh no.
Who's gonna
Somebody's
fight about that?
Who's gonna fight about that one? That's a big one. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What are you
I
thinking?
would say well, I remember not a fun story, but I definitely forgot that I went to London and didn't bring the right adapter. So I went to go dry my hair and it just zapped it, set the fire alarms off. I was staying with a guy who I was dating at the time. He was off at work. And and another time actually in London, I had to call 911, which transfers, thank God, to
999.
their actual emergency. I forget the number.
999.
But I did
999.
999, but I did 911. Long story. I was visiting a friend. Her boyfriend at the time, I think, was doing drugs, for honest. But he had this like diabetic shock situation. So I don't know. I was like, I sounded. I was
So you
like,
were just trying to dry your hair and there was somebody coked out next door.
Separate situation. So yeah, separate situation. But I called 911. Thank God they transferred it. They're like, "What's your address?" I was like, I probably sounded like some dumb American girl who was like spending the night with some guy because I was like, let me step outside and get the address. But they came quickly, thank God. And the guy's fine. He survived. But I know. I'm wondering though, what other countries like it makes me wonder. I need to like think about adapters for wherever.
Do the
you're
hotels
traveling.
give you that stuff or no? They don't give a fuck.
You can ask. It depends on the hotel and what range you're in. Do you know what I mean? If you're in the Four
Yeah, yeah.
Seasons, you're in the St.
Irons. Not
Regis.
everybody allows
No,
irons,
no.
so that's something.
And yeah, Dyson hair dryers. That's a big one for our UK girls that come across here. It can fry it, so you've got to be very careful. The adapter doesn't work and it converts, doesn't do it.
Do your
You've
research,
gotta
but
be very
also
careful.
speak to your
Yeah.
whoever you're hiring.
It's something-
Hire a travel
Yes,
person.
travel insurance as well is a big one. People don't want
Where do
it,
we get that
but
from?
You need it from us. We get
Yeah.
it. We can add it to the booking. We can.
How
add it to
expensive are we
partners.
talking?
It depends again on the booking.
Couple $100
Couple
or-
$100.
Yeah, no
Do you
big
know?
deal.
No big deal.
It's like
and you're getting
liability
it.
insurance for events too. Totally
Yeah.
worth it.
You've got to have it because when it goes wrong, it goes wrong. You may have somebody sick that you've got to fly home to. Things like that people don't think about.
Or your credit cards will sometimes.
Sometimes,
cover.
but
Depends.
sometimes it depends. If you're doing a big one, I would say just get that insurance.
Yeah.
and
It's
you've
not-
got
it
that
might as well
coverage.
do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I always add it in, and I'll say like it's kind of like when you go to Best Buy and you go for your TV, and then you go at the end, and then they're like, "Would you like the 2-year insurance?" And you go, "No."
Yeah,
Just to
2-year
save
insurance.
$20.
Don't know why they don't just put it in all
Just
together
tell
and
me
then cover.
and
And
spend.
I always tell the client your insurance is included so that they see the full price.
Yeah.
And then they're not shocked. Oh, I don't want to pay $200 more, but you're like, yeah,
Right.
but you're getting all of this coverage. If you need to
Makes
change,
sense.
you can change. If something happens to passports, if something happens here, you can pivot and you can change the year. You know what I mean? If you can't go this year, you can go next year. So that does help as well. But yeah, I would definitely say travel insurance is a big one. Very big.
Okay.
So,
I feel good. Any closing remarks, anybody? Uriel, do you need anything else from us? Maggie?
oh, I didn't tell you the Paddington Bay story.
Oh, yeah, we need to do that.
You mentioned
All
it.
right, we'll go in. So Paddington Bay, little boy had lost his teddy bear on a London bus transport, and God love him. And
But
so,
you said London buses, you can't get
well, you
that.
can't, no, you can't leave your grandma on a London bus. She'll be gone. Do you know what I mean? So you just got to be careful with your stuff. But God love him, he was only a little boy, and he just left it, got off, ran off, and then remembered, oh, it was bus 14, and he remembered the bus. We couldn't find it, but the people that we worked with were phenomenal and tried to find it, but they just couldn't. So what we did, we bought him a Paddington Bear, and then we bought him the replica of his toy that he had never slept without for like 5-6 years. And then we built the story in. So we then put Paddington, he went and found him, and then they went together on the Peru, they went to London buses, they had afternoon tea, they went on a jet together, they went to see Aunt Lucy, they did it all. And then it arrived on his doorstep. So he knew it wasn't his, but he was happy
Right.
anyway. So
It
he
was
got the
also, it was a
stories.
story and it, yeah,
Yes, because he didn't want to leave London
without.
without his bear. Listen.
Okay, so we were so lucky to have a bunch of really, really great professionals in the studio today. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves one more time, talk about what they do, what they love, and how to reach them.
Yeah, thank you. I'm Lauren Hitchin. I own and operate the Jet Set Travel Group. I'm a luxury travel advisor. We are lucky to have a team of 26 as well, so we work well and we do different destinations, different events, different things. And you can reach me on Instagram at the Jet Set Travel Group. We're also on Facebook as well, so if you need us, you can always get to us. Thank you.
I'm Lindsay Gata. I'm a wedding planner, and I recently moved to Sarasota. Saw Jen, her company, heard great things, and reached out. So, not really wanting to plug anything, but really
We love
excited to meet
collaborating. I think something that is missing in our industry is a lot of really great collaboration. I have a lot of good friends that are planners, so it's nice to be able to bounce ideas off of each other and talk about the market and talk about what we're doing. And I think there's a big miss in the market that everyone is competing for the same business, which isn't true. Everybody has their client, and there's tons of weddings. It's not going to go away. So I'm super thankful that you guys are here, and welcome to Sarasota, and enjoy the sunshine.